Hello, everyone. Welcome to our channel. In this series, we have selected some of Aesop's fables and combined them into several long stories, like a medley. This series is Adventures of the Smartest Ass, and this episode is part 2. Our protagonist is still the donkey named Smarto. A brief explanation of this story will be provided at the end of this episode. Now, let's get started.
Once upon a time, there was an ass named Smarto living in a forest. One day, he fell into a hunter's trap and was sold to a merchant who traded animals. One afternoon, a herb seller, who wanted to purchase an ass, selected Smarto. The merchant said that the ass could be tried out for 5 days. The herb seller paid the money and took Smarto home. He put Smarto in the straw yard with other asses. Smarto chatted with the other asses and decided to befriend the one that was the most idle and the biggest eater of them all. After observing this, the herb seller put a halter on Smarto. The next day, he led Smarto back to the merchant. The merchant was curious as he came back so soon. The merchant asked, "How could you have evaluated the ass in such a short time?" The herb seller answered, "That is enough. I don't need to put him through any more tests. I know he will be just the same as the one he chose for his companion." So, Smarto was returned to the merchant, pending another buyer. Smarto was disappointed as he had lost his new friend. One morning, an old miller and his son came to the animal merchant. The miller wanted to buy an ass, but had not made up his mind. He thought, to buy or not to buy, that is the question. Noticing the miller's hesitation, the merchant said, "If you are not sure, you can try out the ass and return him for a refund within 5 days. The miller thought this deal was quite good, so he began to choose a suitable ass. After changing his mind several times, he chose Smarto. Smarto thought, "They seem to be nice. I hope something good will happen this time." On their way home, the miller rode Smarto while his son walked alongside. They passed by some women carrying market baskets loaded with vegetables and other things to sell. One of them exclaimed, "What a selfish old man. He himself rides in comfort, but his poor little boy has to walk." Not wanting to be the subject of ridicule, the miller decided to let his son ride Smarto instead. As they continued their journey, some people said, "Respect old age, little boy. Let the old man ride." The miller was confused but still wanted to be agreeable, so he rode Smarto with his son. Then Smarto had to carry 2 people. He thought, "Oh my God. This is too heavy for me." After they continued their journey, a loud shout went up from another group of people on the road. One bystander exclaimed, "What a crime to burden such a poor and helpless animal. It seems like they are more capable of carrying the ass than the ass is of carrying them." Hearing this, the miller and his son were frustrated. They scrambled down and discussed for a while. Then they tied the ass's legs to a pole, lifted the pole to their shoulders, and carried the ass. Smarto thought, although this pose is uncomfortable, it is a bit better than carrying 2 people. As they entered the marketplace, an uproar ensued as people ran out to get a closer look at the strange sight. More and more people came up to point, laugh, and shout at them. Smarto felt increasingly uncomfortable, and the situation became intolerable for him. He kicked and brayed, making the ropes that held him break. Then he fell to the ground. With the miller and his son's assistance, Smarto managed to stand up from the ground. Smarto was in pain and grumbled, "Damn, I am the unluckiest ass in the world." As everything went wrong, the poor miller felt very frustrated and said to his son, "Buying this ass was a mistake. We have to return him to the merchant. But the ass seems injured now. We have to let him walk very slowly to keep him in good condition." The son was disappointed. He said, "He's smart. I like him. Must we return him?" The miller said, "My son, we chose him together, I liked him too. But we are still very far away from home. We don't have enough energy left to continue the struggle. It is much easier to go back. Otherwise, we can never come home. The son replied in a deflated tone, "Okay, Dad." Smarto was also disheartened. He thought, that means I have to go back and stay at the mercy of circumstances again. As they walked along the road, some travelers laughed loudly at them. One of them cried, "Did you ever see such fools? They walk when they can ride." The miller told his son, "By trying to please everyone, I have not pleased anyone, including myself. This time I have to stick to my plan." Despite the laughter and ridicule, they did not ride the ass anymore. Then Smarto was returned once again to the merchant, pending another buyer. When the boy was going to leave Smarto, he felt sad. He touched Smarto's head and said, "Goodbye, my friend."
That brings us to the end of this episode. For your information, this story is inspired by Aesop's Fables, including the ass and his purchaser, the miller, his son, and the ass. As we weave these fables into a continuous narrative, we aim to join them seamlessly while infusing twists and surprises. It is interesting to note that there is also a story very similar to the miller, his son, and the ass, but with Mulla-Nasreddin as the protagonist. The similarity in pronunciation between Mullah and Miller may lead to the setting of the character as a miller. So, the relationship between different versions of the same story can be quite subtle. But not all versions of this Aesop fable set the protagonist as a miller. For example, in the Jacob's version, the title is The Man, the Boy, and the Donkey. The next adventure of Smarto will be Part 3, Rise of the New Master. Stay tuned for it. If you enjoyed this story and the explanations, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. A text version is available for reading on our Patreon. Additionally, the site provides links where you can view or download English versions of Grimm's fairy tales and Aesop's fables for free. Your support enables us to create more content like this. Thank you for watching. See you next time.